Hello there. My name is Cademan David, but some Greek gods might call me Mr. Cow. Now, this is usually a YouTube channel where we talk primarily about science fiction TV shows. But today I kind of wanted to stretch out into the realm of fantasy a little bit, talking about Percy Jackson. Now, for a bit of context, I have not read the Percy Jackson books, and I watched the movies a long time ago. I don't think they were very good. I know that's sort of the common consensus about them. I watched the first season of the TV show, and wasn't very impressed mostly because of one element of the storytelling that I'll talk more about later on in this video. But this is going to be a sort of off-the-cuff review of Season 2, Episode 1, Percy Jackson. Now, please, if there's any super fans of Percy Jackson watching this, just kind of have grace. I don't know all the lore elements, I don't know the story. Like I said, I've never read the books. I watched the first season when it first came out, haven't gone back and watched it again since then. The movies I watched a long time ago. Come to think of it, I think I've only watched the first movie. I don't think I ever watched the second one. But that's besides the point. So this episode begins with Percy's satyr friend, and I guess he's searching for Pan. I vaguely remember that from season 1. I really should have rewatched it before watching this. He found a skeleton with a pan flute. I guess that skeleton wasn't Pan, because I feel like if it was, he would have been like, oh my goodness, Pan is dead, or something. Or maybe it was Pan, and he just doesn't actually care that Pan is dead. I'm not sure. I'm guessing we'll figure out more about that later on. Percy Jackson kind of has this dream about him, and then we're introduced to his Cyclops brother. That I guess at this point Percy doesn't know is his brother. And his Cyclops brother goes to school with him. Now, this is the biggest issue I had with season 1. I believe this is just sort of a carryover from the book directly into the movie. So that's kind of unfortunate. I know a lot of people who like the books. I don't know if I would, right? But this element really ruins the entire thing for me. And was that element I'm talking about? That element is what I believe they call the mist. And basically the mist makes it so normal people can't see anything mythological going on. And to me, that's just the laziest storytelling device ever. I just really hate it, It's just the biggest cop-out, right? I just feel like it takes away the ability to actually tell an interesting story. I feel like these episodes would be a lot more interesting if the characters actually had to, somewhat hide from onlookers and stuff like that. With the idea of like the secret magical world among our world is always kind of a hard story to make work. But here it's just, I don't know, I just don't like the mist. It just feels like lazy storytelling. And I believe I've heard that the mist is something that actually factors in to the original books. But I believe I've also heard that the mist is less outrageous in those original books than they are here. So I don't know if any of that's true, but here in this show, season 1, watching it, that was the big thing that grated on me the entire time, is I was like, I can't get behind this concept of the mist. So that's my biggest issue with like the whole Percy Jackson thing altogether. Now, with that being said, I think there are some things to like in the show. I feel like the cast is pretty good. I don't think they have the best dynamics together. I don't feel like the main characters, particularly the girl who I believe is the daughter of Athena and Percy Jackson, I don't feel like they work together as well as the show wants them to. But I feel like they are both good actors on their own, just not as good of a pairing. So, with all that being said, we're introduced to the Cyclops. The mom is like, oh, you gotta take the Cyclops buddy that you don't know is your brother yet. You gotta take him to the camp for like people who are the children of gods, because there's just so many children of gods. Because Greek gods like to mingle with humans, let's say. So then the girl shows up in a taxi. There's like this thing where she's like gonna fight the Cyclops. It seems like there's sort of a theme of like racism against monsters. And the Cyclops is like a monster, so people are racist against him. Which I believe, again, I don't believe I've ever watched the movie, the second movie, but I believe that I've heard that is a theme of the second movie as well. Anyway, they sort of like get to the camp and they're attacked by these like sort of Celtic orc looking guys, and this is probably very funny for people who are actually big fans of Percy Jackson. They're like, this science fiction boy doesn't know what he's talking about. And you're right, I don't, and it is very late right now. Anyway, so basically the girl has to let the Cyclops in because he's a monster, so he can't get in. And I just feel like all of the sort of magic in this is very contrived, right? Like the mist, the force field, all those things. It just doesn't feel natural. It feels like these things need to be here for the story to work. So yeah, that's kind of a complaint that I would have. Nonetheless, they get into the camp, and then the bad guy from season 1 stabs a tree. The tree used to be a lady, so that's a thing. And then there's sort of a bunch of just like drama between Percy and the girl, where he's like, they're like mad at each other for not talking to each other, and it kind of seems like just a sort of awkward conflict side plot there. And yeah, I think that's really all that happened in this episode. And I don't think this episode succeeded in making me excited for the rest of the season. Maybe it will be good. And I'm gonna keep watching the rest of the season. But overall, I would not give this episode a high rank. And I guess that's sort of what I want to talk about, is because I really want to like the show. I'm in like sort of a big Greek mythology story space. You know, I'm big in Greek mythology right now for whatever reason, and I like the idea of like a summer camp for, you know, like half gods, demigods, I guess. You know, I like that idea. And, you know, there's a lot of ideas in here that I do like, but then it's always a little short of like sort of the version of this story that I want to exist and that works for me. Right? Most notably the very contrived feeling magic. Mostly just the mist. I hate the idea of the mist. Season 1, there's like fight scenes in very public areas, and then everyone's just like, doo doo doo. And it's like, how does the mist work? Does it like change them to seem like these things are happening naturally? Or like, I don't know, it was just very confusing to me. Yeah. But yeah, with that being said, I think this is where I'm gonna have to end the video. This wasn't a planned out video at all. This is just me rambling about something that I just watched, and I would like to hear what you think. Did I get any of the plot elements wrong? Is there anything from the book that makes the things I complained about here, the mist and all that, better? You know, I would love to hear a conversation about this stuff. Because again, I really want to like this show. I like the basic premise, but it's just falling a little short for me, and that's how I felt about season 1 as well. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, live long and prosper, my friend. Farewell. Do you like Dark Charles? He was still in his robe from my Thanksgiving video, so check that one out. Click on it right there. Bye! Well, that's not important. Cut that out. Cut that out, caveman.